The Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation has become one of the most intriguing and uncertain narratives of the offseason. As the Steelers continue their search for a viable long-term solution under center, the team has remained actively involved in pursuit of Aaron Rodgers, hoping to secure the future Hall of Famer services. Yet, despite the Steelers' enthusiasm and ongoing discussions, the situation remains in limbo, with Rodgers himself not yet committing to any team. His future is shrouded in uncertainty as he contemplates whether to retire, play for the Steelers, or explore other options, with the Minnesota Vikings also reportedly in the mix. Cam Hayward, a leader in the Steelers' locker room, recently expressed his willingness to welcome Rodgers to Pittsburgh, but he also acknowledged that the decision is ultimately in the hands of Rodgers himself. Hayward's sentiment reflects the widespread hope among Steelers players and fans alike that Rodgers could bring his proven talent and leadership to the Steel City. However, the longer Rodgers takes to make a decision, the more questions arise regarding his future in the NFL. Rodgers' indecision has left the Steelers in a holding pattern, with no clear answers on when or if they will land a quarterback of his caliber. As the team waits for clarity, the reality is that the Steelers have been pursuing Rodgers for weeks without a commitment from the player. Pittsburgh's interest in Rodgers was further evidenced by his visit to the city just a week ago, where he spent several hours with Steelers coaches discussing what a potential partnership could look like. However, despite these conversations, the Steelers remain uncertain about whether Rodgers will ultimately decide to join their ranks. The uncertainty surrounding Rodgers has led to speculation about his future, with some even questioning whether he might retire. After a turbulent and disappointing couple of seasons, including an early playoff exit last year, the prospect of Rodgers walking away from the game has become a real possibility. While some believe he has unfinished business and might return for another season, others wonder if he feels his time has come to step away from the game altogether. Meanwhile, the Steelers' search for a quarterback has been marked by missed opportunities and frustration. The team was initially involved in discussions with several potential quarterback options, including Matthew Stafford, Justin Fields, and, of course, Aaron Rodgers. However, none of these discussions have resulted in a successful acquisition. Stafford re-signed with the Los Angeles Rams. Fields opted to stay with the Chicago Bears, and Rodgers, as mentioned, remains undecided. The Steelers' pursuit of quarterback has left them in a precarious position, with the possibility of heading into the season with Mason Rudolph at the helm, a scenario that many Steelers fans would rather avoid. For now, Rudolph stands as the most likely option for Pittsburgh if they are unable to land Rodgers. Rudolph, who has seen limited action as a starter, remains the fallback plan for the Steelers as they enter the offseason. However, there are significant concerns about his ability to lead the team to success. The Steelers' defense, which remains one of the league's most formidable, would need to carry the load once again, as the offense's quarterback play remains uncertain. The Steelers' lack of a clear quarterback solution is all the more perplexing given the team's recent history of stability at the position. From the days of Ben Roethlisberger, Pittsburgh has long been known for having a reliable signal caller at the helm. But with Roethlisberger's retirement, followed by the inconsistency at the quarterback position over the past few seasons, the Steelers have found themselves in uncharted territory. The team has struggled to find consistent leader under center, with Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, and even Mitchell Trubisky all failing to lock down the starting role. Pittsburgh's struggles at quarterback have contributed to a postseason drought that stretches back to 2016, when the Steelers last won a playoff game. Given the team's talent on defense and at other positions, the lack of a stable quarterback has prevented them from reaching their full potential. The franchise's inability to secure a top-tier quarterback since Roethlisberger's departure is undoubtedly one of the key factors keeping them from competing for a Super Bowl. While the Steelers' front office remains committed to finding a solution, the longer they go without securing a top quarterback, the more questions arise about their long-term strategy. If they cannot land Rodgers, the Steelers will have to pivot to alternative options, including the draft. However, the uncertainty surrounding the quarterback market, coupled with a lack of immediate options, leaves the team in a difficult position. In contrast, the Minnesota Vikings have emerged as a potential landing spot for Rodgers, and many believe it could be a better fit than Pittsburgh. The Vikings, with their explosive offense and solid defense, present a more complete team than the Steelers at this stage. Rodgers would have the opportunity to work with head coach Kevin O'Connell, one of the league's brightest young minds, and the Vikings' offensive weapons, including Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook, would provide him with a strong supporting cast. Furthermore, the NFC North is generally considered a weaker division than the AFC North, which could give Rodgers a clearer path to success. Despite Minnesota's appeal, there are still plenty of hurdles to overcome. Rodgers has made it clear that he will take his time with this decision, and there is no rush for him to commit to any team just yet. As the clock ticks down, the Steelers' front office is left to wonder whether their pursuit of Rodgers will pay off or whether they will be forced to explore other options in the draft or free agency. In the meantime, the question remains, what will the Steelers do if Rodgers doesn't choose them? The options are limited, and while Pittsburgh's defense remains elite, the team is desperately in need of a quarterback capable of leading them back to championship contention. Without a clear answer at the most important position in sports, the Steelers' offseason remains in a state of uncertainty, and the fate of their 2025 season hangs in the balance.